Good day, everybody. Meteorologist Robert Spetta here with WesternPacificWeather.com. It is currently the 9th of May, 2011, and we continue to track this tropical storm Bebeng out here, or Aere for internationally, Bebeng for Bagasa, and continuing to call it that here, as this is what the storm is currently affecting the Philippines here. Approximately 145 nautical miles northeast of Manila is the most recent position from JTWC. That's the Joint Typhoon Warning Center out of Pearl Harbor, as of right around 03 Zulu, or about 1100 Philippine Standard Time. Currently, as I'm doing this update, it's right around 1300 Philippine Standard Time. That's right around 05 Zulu for those of you worldwide here. And we continue to track this system as it moves north-northwest, just skirting the east coast of Luzon here. It did make landfall this morning just northeast of Casiguran, right in this region here. And also noting we still continue to have signal 2 in Aurora and Isabela here along the east coast, and also much of eastern Luzon continues to be under signal force 2. That's for winds of 60 to 100 kilometers per hour. The warning from Bagasa here. Metro Manila is out of signal force 1 as of right now, basically. Northern Quezon, just to the north here, it continues to be in signal force 1 though, and much of western Luzon here as well, and that is the current warnings coming out of Bagasa, but expecting these to gradually drop off throughout the day as the storm continues to move off towards the north. And even though the storm is over land, we still continue to see a lot of these higher cloud tops producing a mass amount of precipitation here along the eastern Luzon, and this is causing widespread flooding and even several reports of mudslides along eastern Luzon here, and even as far south as Visayas. I also want to note no more warnings are in effect for Visayas, but you continue to still have that leftover flood problem, and also still have some of these rain bands working their way across that region here as well. And also Metro Manila are experiencing some reports of flooding and also widespread blackout. With this video here, just showing you one of the typical situations out here where we are seeing this flooding out here. This was uploaded by somebody here. If you just want to click down here in the bottom left, you can see the entire video here. I'm not sure the exact location, but just showing one of the widespread floods out in this region, and also another case where we are seeing the flooding. Also, I do want to note that this is one of the main reasons why we are seeing reports of deaths out here is due to the flooding. Actually, up to 9 confirmed at this time, mainly along the eastern portion of Luzon here, and down to Visayas, up to 4 reports caused by mudslides, several reports of traffic accidents, and actually 1 report of electrocution out here. So really sad news coming out of there, and unfortunately we could not get through this storm without having any casualties or injuries, and that's really kind of sad. Kind of the way things go down here in the Philippines, especially when you get tropical systems moving ashore here. And on another note, I did mention widespread blackouts. This is one of the many photos I've taken down here, and this one I just want to bring up because just look at the big mess that the electrical system is down here, and the overall power grid in Manila and that region is really kind of not the most standard and not the most best kept power system. So once you get a tropical system moving through the region, it really isn't uncommon to see these widespread blackouts. But moving on into the forecast, where this system is going to be going here in the future, just looking at streamline analysis once again here, I like to use this particular graphic in forecasting tropical systems. Looking at the overall background flow, we are going to continue to see this system move towards the north and eventually off towards the northeast, riding the western periphery of the Western Pacific High right in here. We're expecting this to slightly weaken and drift off towards the southeast, and that's the reason why in the long-range forecast looks like it's going to move just south of Okinawa here and just south of Honshu as well, basically on the track here. Actually looking at one of the models to verify this with GFS here on the 11th at 0Z, so the morning of the 11th, continuing to see this track off towards the north and eventually towards the northeast here over Okinawa, or just south of Okinawa here per this model. If we do continue to scroll down here and just look out into the next several frames, and looking out into basically overnight on the 11th, we continue to see the track and much of the precipitation along the southern periphery of the system here. So that's where you're going to see that most mass amount of precipitation as it starts to get wrapped up in with the upper level trough right in here, and even by out to the 12th, basically overnight on the 12th here, we'll start to see this get wrapped up in baroclinic westerlies up in here and really start to make this transition extratropical, but still expecting basically a stationary boundary to kind of ride off of this system. And for the most part, we are expecting it to ride off of a stationary boundary that is going to linger right in this region and basically extend off of this one that's already out here. And basically this already, you can kind of see the troughing here depicted on JMA's analysis here. And that's why it's going to continue to basically track off towards the northeast just south of Okinawa and remain at tropical status a little bit longer than originally anticipated because of it remaining just south of this boundary right in here, which you can kind of see on the infrared imagery right here. And if it does remain just south of that, instead of getting wrapped up with the upper level westerlies up here, it could remain at warm core low status a little bit longer because it's not getting resorbed and it's not becoming more of a cold core low in that baroclinic state. So thus that reason JTWC here is keeping it at tropical storm strength after it moves through the Luzon Strait. Also a slightly decrease in vertical wind shear as opposed to the 40 to 50 knots we're originally expecting up in here. Another reason why we're going to continue to see this at tropical storm strength all the way up past the Ryukyu Islands possibly here. So expecting basically over Okinawa here overnight on the 11th, winds possibly at tropical storm strength there, upwards of 30 to 35 knots as it passes over the region, and also some widespread precipitation. But as for now though, here's showing you Bagasa's warning on tropical storm Bebeng here, just moving off north-northwest, just west of that subtropical ridge as we noted here earlier here, re-emerging out in the Luzon Strait overnight tonight basically by the morning of the 10th, should be out in this region, not taking away the fact that we're going to continue to see some rain bands here along much of northern Luzon here, and specifically Aere, especially going to be continuing to see precipitation throughout the day today and even into tomorrow likely as some of this precipitation continues to move across much of northern Luzon here. Metro Manila though, I'm expecting them to see a decrease in precip throughout the day today by this afternoon and the evening, but we still could see some of that localized flooding as you continue to see that widespread precipitation fall here. Also, I do want to know the long range Bagasa does have it a little bit far off towards the northwest, basically just going straight off of the models here, and also just showing JMA's warning on this, where they're also depicting that northeast curvature as well. So basically all three agencies out until the morning of the 11th are all on the exact same track, but all of them slightly differ here once it gets up north towards the Ryukyu Islands. It starts to turn into an extratropical state here. But one thing I do want to note that we are expecting to some precipitation here nonetheless, and some gusty winds over Okinawa, whatever agency you do use and whatever agency you are looking at, all of them are kind of in agreement on that. But that is all for today, everybody. Thanks once again for listening to WesternPacificWeather.com. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, as usual, you can post them in the comment box below if you're watching this on YouTube, or in the shout box as well if you're watching this at WesternPacificWeather.com. Also, I'm noting I'm posting this at storm2k.org. Plenty of meteorological discussion going on there as well on this system. And lastly, thank you once again for all the reports coming in out of the Philippines and in the regions that are being affected by this. It's one of the best things I can stress is that when you actually get on the ground reports, it's very, very useful. So thanks again for listening. I hope everybody has a great day. Stay safe out there, and thank you.